All right,
I
and
see.
last but not least, now we have the summer blockbuster to end all summer blockbusters. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, or as
Right.
we will call it, Hobbs and Shaw, right? So I'll just start off, do the little intro for this before you get into synopsis, right? So it's amazing, right? How this franchise, the Fast and Furious franchise, evolve from 2001, from this point break street racing crime drama, basically, right? With Vin Diesel and Paul Walker, you know what I mean? And now we in this now this franchise reached the point where it's like a legit sci-fi movie. Like
Well, I
literally,
mean,
like think about it. Just the evolution this show take by. And as far as evolution goes, I would say, like, all right, like I was familiar with the series. Like I knew the hype that went on with the first movie. I knew how big it was, how big a deal the first movie was, right? I would say it is a cult classic amongst the car heads, though, the auto heads, basically, right? Um, two and three were serviceable films. Four, I didn't really care for at all. I thought that it took itself way too seriously. Basically, when Fast Five dropped, that's when I became a real fan of this franchise, because I thought it was the 180 that the franchise needed. You know what I mean? It was the fuel that the franchise needed to survive and just exist. You know what I mean? And from there, I was just enjoying each and every installment, right? Including Fate to the Furious, which I remember I gave a 3.5 out of 5 for. But in rewatching it, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more too, just because of how my less than dumb it was. It just works as this just serviceable action film. As far as my less dumb over the top entertainment goes, seven is the top. The seven is at the top for me. Like that to me
okay.
is my favorite Fast Furious. Well, I would say post, I will say 2010s era. Yeah, that to me is my favorite, because it just went above and beyond the Call of Duty to just deliver one over the top action sequence after the next. So it was just
Okay.
mind blowing,
Six, six.
awesome for me. I just had such a blast watching this, right? And I thought that Fate of the Furious, well, part 8 would have capitalized on what 7 did, but unfortunately it didn't really that much. Although I would say the third act, involving them in the tundra, the frozen tundra, and the submarine. Yeah, that was a great moment. I really enjoyed that moment. So yes, 8 was dumb, cheesy popcorn entertainment. Wasn't as great as 7, but I still enjoyed it. But the point again that is that it's that film in particular which kind of brought in the bromance, basically, between Luke Hobbs, who's played of course by Dwayne Johnson, and Deckard Shaw, played by Jason Statham. So if you remember from Furious 7, basically it was just them trying to kill each other. They had one moment, one great fight scene, and that was it basically. But in 8, Fate and Furious, it was just like, all right, this is where we're gonna get the chemistry, right? Not the on screen, not the off screen chemistry,
Yeah,
right? Because I
they
know
started
both
building
actors
stuff.
have that. But this one is just like, yeah, I hate each other. I hate you. I hate you. We're gonna one up each other with insults. But when we have to work together, when we have to do something, we'll do it. Well, in Fate and the Furious, they didn't do that. They didn't work together. But this is where we have the spin off here. And yeah, we now reach the point that we have spin offs of the Fast and Furious, right? And last thing I will say though, to me, I feel the reason why this movie exists is, well, a little thing behind the scenes of Fate and the Furious. There was apparently this little kind of falling out basically between The Rock, well, Dwayne Johnson, and Vin Diesel. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were kind of button heads off screen. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they were there was, I don't think there was any shot in the movie where they were together. I think like near the end where they had the little the lunch, you know what I mean? They always have the little, the family lunch or family
Right.
dinner, whatever they call it. I remember
Right.
basically Dwayne Johnson being, because they had it on top of a building actually, and he was like at the edge of the building though. Like he was not slightly off screen, but he wasn't at the table with Vin and the others. He was just looking elsewhere. So basically, yeah, both actors weren't in the same shot basically. So it's just like, all right, well, it's Rock, and he's a big actor. You know what I mean? And every movie he's in makes money. So it's like, here's what we're gonna give him his own movie. But it's going to be a buddy movie, basically a buddy cop movie, kind of, which is to see them because we love the banter and the bromance, basically, between the two of them. But now I'm wondering now with the upcoming Fast and Furious movie, are we gonna see Luke Hobbs in this? And even
Right.
more, are we going to see Deckard Shaw in this, right? But before we get to all that, anything you just want to fill in on just the evolution of this series and, well, Fate of the Furious in particular and the whole development between Hobbs and Shaw?
Yeah, from a film production standpoint, it's the natural conclusion of all of this. I liked six. Six is my personal favorite of the franchise. Um, and seven, I thought 7 and 8 kind of wasted the premises, but it's still fun, big action things. And then when Statham came in with Rock together, like, okay, them clearly gonna aim to do something together. Apparently they're friends and they really like each other on set, so yeah, that's a big factor. Yeah, and like this film just kind of come from a lot of that. I mean, if it was anybody with a head on, it'd probably be somebody else. The other two pairs that you can pair off, and it's just whoever like each other for the project. No, that's pretty much what's going on here.
But as I say that, I remember we made this point where we talked about Fate of the Furious, right? This was our collabo with Wade Rock. Shout out to Wade Rock, where we talked about all the series, all the movies in the franchise, including Fate of the Furious, right? We mentioned that they really should have a spin-off between with Ludacris and Tyrese's characters.
Yeah, well, I mentioned that
and have it centered around oh gosh, I forget the hacker chick's names.
Yeah. I think it's not from Game of Thrones, not she?
Yeah. Who played Masandri in Game of Thrones. So sad what happened to her, by the way, but that's all I'll say. But yeah, like that actually could be a potential spin-off.
They have an advantage. They have an advantage that Rock and Statham just don't have, which is the music. Like, to me, like, this film is a perfect, like, we'll talk about this film just now, but this film is like, I mean, it just is a testament to how old school film marketing does still work. Pre-internet, late 90s era film marketing.
Yeah, and where basically the two names of a film gonna sell your movie, like Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell in
exactly. I thought you could do the same thing, because a big factor in them days was the music. You could square the music, and Tyrese and Ludacris could just do a collab album together, and then have a big funny thing and do roughly the same thing, a body cop comedy with a girl in between. Dine hard. Just make the black version of this, or I should say the darker version of this.
For real.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They can easily do this if they have their head on, but they don't have their head on, especially Tyrese. Tyrese just keep fucking up.
Especially Tyrese, boy. So he's another character. He's another person. Sorry, I have no idea if he'll be in this 9 Fast and Furious film. But
I mean, he never served a purpose after the second film, but whatever.
Yeah, and I would admit, even in Fate of the Furious, yes, he was annoyed. He was goddamn annoyed. He was just doing the same typical Roman Pierce. I'm gonna talk big and act big and be like, yeah, I said that. You see, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, he does that, right? But anyway, I just want to fill us in on the plot of Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes, plot in quotes. Right. So, I forget the sister name, but she is like a MI6 or something like that. A spy.
Yes. Her name is Hattie Shaw. So yes, she's the sister of Deckard and Owen. Right. So who's played by Vanessa Kirby? She was in one of those previous Mission Impossible films. I think it was the last one, Fallout, right? Yes, I think she was. Yeah, and it's funny that now they say she have now Deckard and Owen have a sister. Like, they could just say that early on. However, move on.
Yeah. So what happens is that she had spy powers, and she's doing some spy thing, and she had to hide a weapon from this Black Superman that's played by Idris Elba.
Yes, Idris Elba. Yes, the evil Idris Elba. His name, by the way, is so comic book as well too. Not the Black Superman, because that's the nickname that he gives himself, right? Brixton Law.
Right.
Like, that is such a superhero name.
So he part of this futurist transhumanist kind of death cult kind of thing, where they want to like wipe out all of humanity, and they basically want to use this virus. So what she did is she injects herself with the virus and run. And so they had to get her, and she get involved with Hobbs, and they kind of bounce up each other. And he didn't know it was his sister, and that is pretty much how they meet. All three of them come together, having to stop this guy, and basically get the virus out of her because it's going to, I think, evaporate in her body. Sorry, it's going to dissolve in her body, and then it'll infect everybody apparently, right?
Yeah,
And they can't kill her.
and they have 3 days basically to get rid of this virus. Huh?
Right, and they were like, can't kill her because she's a white woman in a movie, so they can't.
Of
do
course,
that.
yeah.
Right, so
and she's quite attractive. You can't kill she yet.
Right. So that's basically the story. So
right.
Hobbs,
you forgot to mention too. How Luke and Deckard get involved in the first place. Well, the CIA hired them, right? So in their respective homes. And we'll talk about cameos in a bit. So yeah, they hired by the CIA to do this job here, basically.
Yeah, that is it. And they get framed because apparently they can control the media, the bad guys.
Of course, because they're and just to stop you for a bit, right? So that moment reminded me so much. I'm gonna talk about James Bond as well too when I get to my thoughts on the film, right? When I saw that, I was like, this is Tomorrow Never Dies, right? Like this the idea of this shadow network that could just create news and make people believe it. You know what I mean? That was Jonathan Pryce's character making tomorrow's news today, basically. So as how they was able to just like switch things up and make Hobbs and Shaw wanted by the cops and whatnot, wanted by all these law enforcement agencies and whatnot, just so quickly. I was like, but this is like some James Bond shit, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's basically what it is. It's a dumber James Bond movie. But I mean, the Fast and Furious franchise was always that anyway, so whatever. From a while back. So whatever. What else for you? Right, so that's pretty much it. And then they had to globetrot and get the friends and who had to do what and when to beat, the bad guy, and that is pretty much it. It had a bunch of cameos and a bunch of references. Like I completely forget that Jason Statham was in the Italian Job. Like I totally forget about that movie.
Oh yes, that's true. That's true. Which ironically, the director of the last Fast Furious movie, F. Gary Gray, directed. Right? I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is pretty much that. It was fine. Like this was fun. Again, they market this out. It totally feel like a '90s movie I was watching. Like
it does. Feel like it does, and in a good way too. Not in a cheap lazy. Not in a cheap lazy way either.
Right. No, this was pretty much, in my opinion, it was kind of Venom all over again for me. It was just a lot of. Yeah, well, not in a bad way because it was a little more endearing and I was fucking obnoxious as Venom was. But it was kind of the same. It was just kind of similar marketing, same crowd, had a similar feel to everything going forward into it. Like in terms of just how you should feel about it. It's a movie that competing against the MCU in a sense, and you're gonna have to get people to forget about it. So you're not gonna make $1 billion, but at the same time, well, I should say not MCU, but competing against Disney now. And you had to just see how it is gonna make money going forward and whatnot. And again, that's pretty much what was going on with this. I wasn't mad at any of this. Per se, it's just a lot of it was just simple. Stop it, get some help. It was just so silly and ridiculous, but I had fun.
Yeah, I had fun with this as well too. Yeah. I did for me, like I went in with expectations low. I want to say that, not just because it's a Fast Furious movie, right? But because it's a spin-off, I can't, in good conscience, compare this to any of the other films. So I can't say, well, this was better than 7 because remember, this is a spin-off, right? No. So I had to treat this film as its own thing, right? And for the most part, it functions well enough, right? There are a couple of tropes, Fast and Furious tropes that they threw in the third act, which I'll get into a bit. But that it felt like it was its own thing, just going back to like Tango and Cash I mentioned before, the whole body team up action, shoot people, punch people in the face kind of shit, right?
But as I said, the thing is how it manifests itself. It just plays itself out with just again simple humor. All the jokes is something that come out of the night. Like it really feel like an old script that they just dust off and then reformat for a modern thing. It didn't feel like a Fast and Furious script at all. It just felt like just its own, like just some action script that somebody had 20 years waiting, and they just belted out and paid them.
I do agree with you. And to me, that's a good thing that it's able to more or less try something new, quote unquote. There, so we don't have to center everything on cars and the need for speed. Basically, we could do something a little bit different. But what worries me though is that, well, God forbid if they do more spin-offs like this, is it just that we're just going to be harkening back to to old action films over and over and over. So I'm a little worried though, even though I enjoy this film for the most part, but I'm a little worried for the future of this franchise because
Right.
I still want to assume that they just had 2 more films in the tank and that's it. That's gonna be the
Right.
end. Like they're gonna wrap up at Fast Furious 10 there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, as long as he's making money, they'll keep doing it. That's how I see it. And look, is this is the 80th century problem, right? If you hear and you're complaining about what's going on, you ain't supposed to be there. At this point.
Agreed. Yeah.
Enough for that. So whether it's up to you whether or not you're gonna see it or not. And yeah, it have a big enough crowd to go and see it, so they'll see it. That's it. It's not for you. So all these cynical film critics could go away now and just blow away.
Exactly. This movie is not for them. It's not for them at all.
Exactly. And I'm not even trying to be apologetic. When I started watching the film, in my head I was like, wait, this kind of like almost like a parody of like an action movie. And then it's like, oh shit, they're playing everything real straight. And then by the time about 20 minutes, and I was like, oh shit, this is just straight up something from 1997 then. All right, cool. I don't really have a problem with that, frankly. I knew what I was getting, and that's what I got. As I said, comparison to Venom is that it felt a little dated in the sense of just how the marketing was. They just played real straight. They didn't worry to like try to get clever with that or anything like that. And for the most part, it was solid action directing for me. I mean, I wasn't bored with any sequences. I thought they were fine. They were good. They felt real bog standard at many parts, but that's what they are. All the fights, all the silly dialogue lines, Rock, quoting Nietzsche apparently.
Yeah. Oh my God, the silly dialogue lines. Like there's a line where the Rock says, "The son bitch, it really is the Black Superman." I was like, somebody actually wrote this. Why laugh at that? That was funny.
The thing is, Idris Elba was good. He hamming it up.
You could tell he was having fun with this though. At first, I was making the joke that he was trying to play like another version of his character from Pacific Rim, there, especially the outfit that he have on, because it's similar to like what he had there in the end. Tonight we're canceling the apocalypse, right? Remember that, right? So yeah. But in this case, it's like once again, just being this happy. I'm the next gen. Bad, not bad guy, but yeah, he does say yes, I'm the bad guy, haha, right? But yeah, he was be this next gen superhuman, and yeah, he does coin the phrase Black Superman, right? Which they talk about a couple of times. And it's funny too, also, because The Rock, Black Adam, haha, get it right? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, So they do super things. They fight. They're super strong. He's strong, but he's not that strong. He can handle bullets. Like he kind of not really fully. Thing he does kind of half cyborgy kind of thing. They do.
Speaking of cyborgy thing, they do the Terminator stuff where you're able to gauge, the intensity of a punch and how far it can be and all that kind of stuff before the person really late. You also have a bike, and you also have like this motorbike. Sorry, and yes, they really do use the Transformers sound effect in it. But how they incorporate it into the action scenes, I thought was just incredible. I love it.
I like the thing with he and the bike. So he and the bike, he could control the bike, kind of half control it and manipulate it while moving. I thought that was reasonably clever. I thought that was nice. They could have.
It was.
I do the action sequences, and I don't expect more, but it did fine. And then the big end action sequence is very, very good. Again, for what it is, it's very silly, but they bring back the Fast and Furious null shit. So cool.
But when that happened, right? Well, we don't want to spoil what that scene was. I was like, all right, now we into Fast and Furious territory. Now it's over the top. This is ridiculous. Like seriously, when you see how this plays out, it is so ridiculous, sir. But I'll talk about that too, that kind of bit. But yeah, continue.
No, they spoiled pretty much everything in the trailer. As far as I know, they spoiled the action sequence anyway. But it straight up had and then I love how every time they have all the big kind of classic Fast and the Furious zoom shots would zoom up to the clutch and zoom up to this and zoom up to that. They'll always zoom up to the actual logo of the company, of the car. So you'll see just a close up shot of Chevrolet.
Yes. I remember that.
I need to calm down. What the fuck?
Product placement.
Product. They did that with the Lamborghini too earlier.
Oh gosh. That's Statham's ride, I believe. Yeah.
And they just had this big action sequence, as they say, as usual with the Fast and Furious franchise. Nitrous is magic, apparently, so they did that. Yes. And they tell the story for what it is. They give Rock and that girl a little of something. They do a little something with she. That was okay. Everybody had good charisma, and that was the big seller. This Rock had good charisma. Statham had good charisma and good chemistry to everybody. That girl from Mission Impossible, she had good character and good character and chemistry as well with everybody. Everybody was bouncing around. When Rock meet the brother, that was cool too. Um, Ryan Reynolds had a cameo in this, which was dumb, but whatever.
It was, but it was like, all right, it's just Ryan Reynolds doing Ryan Reynolds, but he make me laugh. He make me laugh in the process.
I didn't laugh. I just was like, what the fuck, whatever.
Yeah.
Then
also speaking of cameos, we had Kevin Hart, which caught me completely by surprise. Because like, oh yeah, Central Intelligence. Did not watch that because I'm not a big Kevin Hart fan. Sorry, I'm not. But yeah, when he was there, it worked to me. He came off like the Felix Leiter of the show. You know, he would just be that guy that kind of talks to Bond ever so often that will provide things like a plane to get from point A to point B. Sorry, which he does. You know what I mean? So that was his purpose basically. But I thought the moment with him was funny, even though I was worried that it was gonna run a tad bit too long. But it was funny. It was funny for the most part. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I went in knowing what to expect. But overall, I just wanted it to be pretty much independent of the Fast and Furious franchise. Like, not have to rely on the tropes that one pays money to see when you see a movie with the words Fast and Furious in. And for the most part, it succeeds, right? I really do love the chemistry between Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. You know, they really do bounce off each other a lot. I love the quips, the insults, majority of which work, you know, the action scenes involving the two of them, you know, the skill sets and whatnot, you know, how you know the compare and contrast stuff that they do with that worked. I love that you had a female character, you know, kind of keeping them in check, you know, in the form of Vanessa Kirby. I thought that she was great doing, not just with screen presence, but just, you know, she could hold her own doing in terms of like just being, you know, in an action film. Not so much be the lead in an action movie, but you know that could happen one day. Speaking of action, this movie is directed by David Leitch or Lech, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Who was the director of the first John Wick movie, and a little movie that I enjoyed mostly for the action. This would be Atomic Blood from 2017, and he also did Deadpool 2 from last year, which was decent. Not great, but decent, right? But point is, he knows his way around action, and I really felt that the action scenes were well, you know, executed. You know what I mean? No shaky cam. You could make out what was going on. You could see the absurdity on screen. You know what I mean? Especially in one particular scene involving this sort of Chernobyl-esque kind of set piece that was just so insane and over the top. And from there, as I mentioned, that this is where I'll get to like a few gripes with the show. So they kind of do a Django Unchained thing here, where basically they give you this big, long, elongated action set piece, and the way how it's set up and designed, you're thinking, all right, well, this had to be the end of the show. But my head, I tell myself, no, this is the end, because they was mentioning the whole Samoa thing, you know, in the promotional material for it. You have the Samoa subplot. But I was like, wait, I thought the Samoa plot was going to come in early on in the story, like in the first act or somewhere in the second. I'm like, wait, where's this Samoa stuff, right? Yeah. All to realize, no, it's actually the third act, right? So, yeah, the third act does feel a little tacked on. You know, especially with the fact that this movie is 2 hours and 50 minutes. This easy could have been 2 hours, or at least like an hour and 55. It didn't need to be this long. You know what I mean? You do kind of feel the length right after the end of, you know, the second act there. You know what I mean? But understand, you know, you have to have the big action set pieces. But this is how this one was designed in particular. It's almost like, all right, this is the culmination, or this is the climax. But apparently it's not, right? So this third act, right, which the context of it, I appreciate, you know, the idea of returning to family, and they do set it up in the beginning with Dwayne Johnson and the daughter, you know, Luke's daughter, right? That's the idea of family and whatnot. And of course, you know, if you know you're Fast and Furious, you know it's also about family, you know, that kind of stuff, right? So I like how they tied back to it. Although it kind of felt a little too late, like, you know, y'all now bringing this up with Rock family all of a sudden, okay? I do like the idea of, you know, non-technology over technology with the, you know, the fight, the big battle basically with Hobbs' family versus, you know, Brixton and his army basically. I thought that was the setup was cool though, and how they brought in the whole Fast and Furious isms with the car chase and whatnot, and the over the top scenes, you know, it worked as well, right? But before I get to that though, so this is not a main gripe for me, yeah? But I know for WWE fans, it's gonna be a letdown trend. So all this build up and talk about, oh well, see Dwayne Johnson's cousin Roman Reigns, big WWE
Yeah,
superstar
you do that.
in it. The man is almost to the point that he was in the background.
Yeah, he
Like
barely
if, like
talked.
if like if you went to know having no clue who Roman Reigns is or who he looks like, you
Exactly.
wouldn't even know he was in this show. Because
Yeah,
only time I
right.
thinking that he
Did
was going to
he have
be,
any lines?
he said nothing in the movie, nothing, no word,
Yeah,
right?
no. Yeah, they
But
didn't do
I'll,
anything.
I'll, I'll I'll talk about why that's a detriment to not so much to the movie, but a detriment to Mr. Reigns, though, right? But all this time I tell myself, all right, so Luke brother is going to be Roman Reigns, though, right? So they'll make a little joke, well, the cousin actually played the brother. You get Cliff Curtis, though. Like,
Right.
all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Cliff Curtis could act. I mean, he's good, but I want to see he, being this big tough brother,
Well, he
to
was the nerdy
Luke
brother.
there.
He's just an older brother. That's not a tough brother. That's an older brother.
Okay, fine,
Yeah, that's
fine, yeah.
he
But
was
me,
like the nerdy character actually, because
yeah,
he had to solve the problem. Yeah.
right. But the reason being is, I remember this was actually from last week's episode of our Monday Night Raw. Yes, I do watch wrestling episode often, right? So at the very end, and remember they showed this on USA, right? It's like Roman Reigns is like, hey, catch a exclusive sneak peek behind Hobbs and Shaw. You know what I mean? He's showing them behind the scenes talking and all that kind of stuff. There. See, so I went to tell myself, okay, so Roman not gonna have a big scene, of course, because he's a the star, but he's gonna have a significant scene in the movie, right? And no, he just there in the back. You'll have moments where him kind of walking alongside Dwayne Johnson, but he doesn't say anything though. He does a couple of moves, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say which ones. He does a couple of moves that he known for, but that's really it. But I mean, oh gosh, man, like if cause I want to assume this is his debut appearance in a movie. Well, I would
That
say
was
big
the man I
appearance.
like.
Yeah, I would say yeah, big appearance in a Hollywood movie. Look with Rock for the example. For example, right? Bobby
Scorpion King.
Returns. That's
Yeah.
all. Bobby Returns.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, he say he haku machete. Yes, it's corny, but it was a line. It's a line
Yeah.
I remember. It's a line you remember. It's a line people
Yeah.
remember. You know what I mean? And you could not give Roman Reigns that, like something like in other words, just a rounds up. It's like, all right, if Roman Reigns was going trying to get casted for another show, right, and he have a resume, it's like, hey, it was in Hobbs and Shaw. All right, which part? What line you say? I ain't seen that. Okay, how come you see that? Like you didn't talk to the director and say, hey, give me a line. It's like, not really. You know what I mean? So like the man just blended with the background, like they could have given it a little bit more to do and at least a line to say though. So that was a slight letdown for me. Also, and this almost took me out of the movie, yeah, but I was laughing my ass off for this trend. So yes, the Fast and Furious franchise has defied the laws of physics and graphics. Now we're defying weather too. There's a fight scene at the very end of the movie, right? I'm not gonna say what happens. And it's just a sudden shift from what was going on with the chase scene that I mentioned earlier. In terms of the weather, that's all I would say. But how it happened is literally like a finger snap. And it just switched out of nowhere. And I couldn't help but
Storm.
laugh at this way. Yeah.
But if I, well, they mentioned a
All of
storm
a
was coming.
sudden, no,
They didn't mention a storm was coming. So they said that.
but I mean, out of the blue, just so. Oh, as I don't want to say what happens, but as the chase comes to an end, as it wraps up, boom, rain just starts pouring down, Jen. I'm like, where does rain come out from, Jen? Like, I want to say visually, you could at least show like a lightning flash here or there. It looks like it was like literal sunshine because it's the morning when the fight takes
Right.
place,
Yeah.
right?
They,
Like
they
in the
mentioned
morning,
they
in the
mentioned a
sun.
storm was coming. They didn't mention it. It's a throwaway line, but they made mention a storm was coming. So it's not like it come out of nowhere.
Okay. But I
Yeah.
get why it had to have a storm, to intensify the final fight.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just totally how it just come out of nowhere had me
Yeah.
laughing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those moments. It's one of those things like in the show where once again you have to kind of leave your brain on the floor and kind of understand that yes, things will happen that makes absolutely no sense, right? But there's like these rare moments rare moments where it's like it could take you out of the show because it's just so over the top, so nonsensical, though, right? So, but I like that it kind of doesn't go too far, but it goes far, but it doesn't go too far, right? But yeah, apart from those things, and I can't really say much about the plot because yes, of course the plot is going to be dumb, it's going to be silly, make no sense. But you're not going into a show like this for plot. You're going into this for crazy action scenes, for banter and whatnot. And I got that. I didn't expect the cameos, but they were serviceable, and they worked for the most part, right? Even though they were they were clearly unnecessary, but to me they were just kind of there, just to be all MCU with it, right? And speaking of MCU, last thing I'll say before I get to rating, they do two stingers at the very end, and one part of the stinger itself, well, I would say the little montage you do near the end, while the closing credits and whatnot. I thought they were going to introduce a character. They kind of hint that a character was involved, but they don't really do anything with that. And then they do the whole Ant-Man the Wasp thing where you wait until the very end. You wait until the very, very end to see if they're going to lead into Fast Furious 9. And no, it's just one of those, just a code double toasted, one of those that moments where it's like, yeah, you're stuck around basically for nothing. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. But other than that, though, I got my money's worth with this. I enjoyed this. This was a blast. Didn't need to be as long as it could be. It could have trimmed off a little 50 minutes off of it. But like I say, the good stuff that I mentioned works with this film. Of course, I have to mention Idris Elba. Just you could tell he was just having so much fun being this late 80s, 90s, badass villain. You know what I mean? It worked. And just the whole affair is just pure popcorn entertainment. That is what it is. And just in closing, I like the fact that it really went out of its way, not too much, to be as independent from the franchise as possible. Like it could have just been.
That was it feel like a Fast and Furious movie on its own. It's only the end is how to do Fast and Furious shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Fast and Furious. That's an action script. That's a general action script.
Exactly. Like this could have been a film that the two of them could have started like in the 2000s or something like that, right? Like when their careers were developing. But yeah, because the household names right now is like, yeah, we could pull this off though. And yeah, I really, really enjoy this here. And in no way would I compare this to the other Fast and Furious movies. I think that's unfair. But as it stands as a spin-off, I think it works. Now, I don't know if the plan is to do other spin-offs from there. I don't know if they're gonna wait till. I still have a feeling that they're gonna wrap up at the 10th Fast and Furious movie, and I don't know if the plan is to just have spin-offs from there. I can't really say.
As long as it's making money, they'll keep making it. Like I don't have no reason to stop because Fast and Furious have no true end point or anything like that. It's not like some anime where the character have to do this and so and so. None of that shit. They have no thing. It's just fast cars, wherever it go and it make money, they'll go. They could go to space, Optimus Prime could show up, wherever the fuck. Like it don't really matter.
And speaking of that, I know that because of course because this is such a fan oriented franchise, I know the creators of this here when we say, yeah, this franchise needs to go to space though. I know they know this, so they're planning something right now,
Yeah,
and don't we all get with the ninth one, but
no, they just have to make it coherent enough for people to come to theaters because it's straight up a popcorn movie. Like that's why I don't really get into these movies, or I don't get angry at these movies for failing to do certain things. Where they do fail at when I have a problem is if they can't do what they're supposed to do. So when they didn't have Deckard Shaw do the transporter thing, that was annoying, right? Because like transporter was a big car thing. Or if when they didn't have,
I know, but the argument is transporters 20th Century Fox and we are Universal, so
no, that have nothing to do with anything. It's just you had to remind people it's not the same. It's not the actual transporter. That's not the thing. It does make a character like the transporter. I said he's a badass driver and he kind of like the transporter. It's not the actual transporter. You don't have to cater to continuity because it doesn't fucking matter.
I got you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
same thing with Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron character could have been like Furiosa. She'd do a character like Furiosa. So it's a kind of weird, anarchist kind of figure. She shaves she head. So it reminds you of Furiosa. That's enough. But yet they make her this weird computer person that don't do any driving whatsoever. That's lame.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean? And she's like the counter hacker or whatnot. And as you say, Charlize Theron, last thing I'll say before I get to read it. I thought that, one of the people behind the scenes with Brixton's, the cult that he was in, the big super terrorist organization, whatnot. I thought Cypher was part of it, Like, I thought that was going to be the big stinger that Cypher is part of this big organization there.
Right.
That's the tie-in I was looking for, but I
Right.
didn't get that
Right.
here, unfortunately. But well, Cypher did escape in Feet to the Furious, so I'm expecting to
Right.
see her again in the night one. I don't know what they're gonna do, but it'll be
Yeah,
cool if
go
they
weird.
connect Hobbs and Shaw with Part 9. But we'll see. Other than
Right.
that, rated wise, I would give this a strong 3.5 out of 5. Man. This
Right.
is exactly what it is. You know, me
Yeah,
popcorn
I give
entertainment
this
from start to end.
I give this a movie tongue, but because it's such a big blockbuster thing, you should probably go to the biggest screen for this because it's the action sequences are quite good for what they are. They're not brilliant, they're not mind blowing or anything like that. They're just good, well executed, good stuff from the stunt people. You know, good stunt work, good. You know, just it's just a good production overall. Like I would be happy with this project if I was working on it. It's one of those. It's not some
Yeah,
masterpiece. It's not meant to be art or anything like that. It's fine. Everybody was good in it. Everybody was charismatic. The jokes were funny enough. It's fine, except for Kevin Hart bullshit. Fuck off. Tired of that. It was terrible. But yeah, other than that, it was fine for me mostly.
yeah.
You know, yeah, I get this. Like, I don't know what to give it. I'll probably give it like a low movie tongue or anything like that, or something like that. I don't know how much money. I wouldn't spend that much money on this, and I didn't spend that much money on this. I just went straight up matinee shot for South Park, and it was super cheap. That is why
I was tempted to see this in IMAX, but I was like, I don't know.
I just went the screening time for it, and that has always be cheaper, like way cheaper than normal tickets because like it's like they kind of know the critics and the nerds just come early anyway, so it's like all right, whatever. Nobody has gone come like give it all for cheap. So that's pretty much my critic discount. I was counted as that, and yeah, that was pretty much it for me. I just watched it and enjoyed for what it was, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
I really don't know where this franchise is gonna go from here. You say it
Nah,
should just keep on going as long as it makes money, but because like the MCU for example, like that existing is because well you have
well,
a
no, but
foundation where you have
exactly
tons of
the
characters you can
MCU
pull out
already
from.
have
This one
yeah
is all right. What can I take these action stars and have them do now, and what new
yeah
action stars I can bring into the table? You know what I mean? That's
exactly.
the challenge with this show.
You could write any bullshit. I mean, because the thing is, even if these movies don't make this, because even if they don't make, they could still keep making them with a la the Marine, right? WWE.
Yeah, John Cena. Who, by the way,
Yeah,
is going to be in the ninth Fast Furious movie, by the way.
exactly.
Yeah.
Whoever.